Well, if he really was filming everybody, I mean, he had a lot of people at those parties, right? You know who said?
Brother right here from day one, we used to wake up and, damn, pause, but like, just back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older.
Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times. Just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right. Because P. Diddy be wanting to party. And you gotta tell him no. You got to tell him no. I did.
Joe Rogan, Terrence Howard, and Katt Williams recently spoke out, loud and unfiltered, about a batch of leaked documents tied to Diddy. Even Elon Musk's name has surfaced, dropping cryptic warnings apparently directed at the white celebrities. Caught up in the controversy, some of them are reportedly trying to leave the country as if they're racing against time. Now, before we dig any deeper, let's be clear, this is all based on what insiders and online chatter are saying. None of it is confirmed. We're just presenting what's being discussed.
I'm like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? Just looking at it. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there, just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you. That's what my assistant said. I was
According
like,
to sources connected to the prison where Diddy is currently held, he may be considering speaking out if it helps reduce his own legal troubles. Joe Rogan, Terrence Howard, and Katt Williams all hinted that Diddy could be holding damaging information on some high-profile figures, and that's got them worried.
You know?
Sounds rough, man.
Well, it's just amazing how many people on the Diddy party list that are supporting Kamala, too.
Yeah, seriously. It's like insane.
Publicly, openly, all in.
Yes. It's like J-Lo was like his ex-girlfriend. and it's like now deciding she's like warning people against Trump. I'm like, well, wait a second. So how many people did she warn against Diddy?
Right.
Oh, 0. Okay.
Right.
Well, maybe we shouldn't trust her
One of the
opinion.
most surprising names to come up, Steve Harvey. That's right. Katt Williams dropped some subtle hints, and now people online are pointing out that as soon as Steve reportedly caught wind of the charges against Diddy, he left the country quickly. But that's not all. He also wiped his social media accounts of any connection to Diddy. That includes a 2017 tweet where he praised Diddy as a positive force for young people, something that now looks questionable in hindsight. But what really caught people's attention? A photo of Lori Harvey wearing white nail polish. That might seem harmless at first, but for those tracking this Diddy situation, it raised red flags. In her lawsuit, Cassie claimed that Diddy made women around him wear white nail polish during his so-called freak-off sessions. The reason? The white nail stood out against their skin in videos he allegedly filmed and kept for himself, something that's deeply unsettling.
People against their will, putting people on planes while they're unconscious, just like Aaliyah got on that plane. Unconscious. There's a lot of things that people don't want to talk about.
It gets even darker. Young Miami also wore white nails. Even Diddy's mother was seen with them. That's when people began asking the tough questions. Did Steve Harvey genuinely not know what was going on? Or was he trying to stay close to Diddy to benefit from Hollywood connections? Back then, Diddy was a major figure, billionaire status, running Revolt TV, and connected with some of the top producers in the industry. Now, speculation is growing that if Diddy decides to cooperate, we might finally learn the real reason. Steve stepped back so suddenly. Then there's Meek Mill. Since the news of Diddy's legal troubles broke, Meek has gone completely quiet. That's unusual, especially since he was close to Diddy. People still remember the old video of Meek lounging in a pool with Diddy, calling him daddy and saying he loved him. At the time, it was laughed off. But now, it doesn't seem so innocent. As more names were dropped in the lawsuits, Meek Mill disappeared from the spotlight.
What up, King Son? Man, you doing it, man. You deserve it, daddy. You putting in that work. Proud of you. I love you. Yeah.
Let's not overlook Lil Rod, who also filed a lawsuit against Diddy. He outright claimed that Diddy was giving Meek Mill deals in return for something more personal. Once that information started leaking, Meek quickly left for Africa and began posting some cryptic tweets. One of his posts even claimed he was offering $100,000 to anyone who could find out who was trying to link him to Diddy. but people online aren't convinced. Many believe Meek is trying to clean up his image before something serious comes out. There's talk that he might have been captured in footage the feds obtained during their investigation. If that's the case, once court proceedings begin, things could escalate fast. Right now, he's playing it cool, but the public isn't buying it.
Had a recording of Meek and Diddy.
Making love?
I don't know if it was love.
Okay, you have it? Let's hear it.
What?
Yo, wait a minute. Wait,
You didn't hear this?
no!
Now, Miran,
Yeah.
what does that sound authentic?
It absolutely. Oh my God.
Then there's Usher. Yes, even he's reportedly feeling the pressure. He's had ties to Diddy since his early days, and now his name is being mentioned in this mess too. Usher was just 13 when he joined Diddy's flavor camp, and now there's speculation online that he may have been exposed to some troubling situations back then. And don't forget what Diddy's former bodyguard Gene Deal revealed. According to him, Diddy once sent Usher to the hospital, bleeding, from an area he wouldn't specify. That's extremely serious. And just when things seemed they couldn't get more bizarre, people resurfaced an old Kevin Hart interview. In it, Diddy jokingly said he woke up in bed with Usher when they were younger.
Brother right here from day one, we used to wake up and, pause, but like, check this out. Back in the days when he was like 10 and I was a little bit older.
At the time, people laughed it off as party humor. But with all these new allegations coming to light, no one's laughing now. If Usher was really involved in anything questionable, he'll need to have his legal team ready because this could turn messy quickly.
If you don't mind me asking, because I know the topic is sensitive, what happened to Usher?
I heard about some music executives from the industry back in Harlem. You know, I heard it from some music executives back in Harlem. And I'm not going to speak on their name. They doing programs and everything like that, and they may be doing something, they may speak on it themselves. But I heard it from some music executives.
What did you hear?
Bro, you know how people be talking and we was around some people, something like that, and then some people might say, yo, I don't F with that dude. And at the time, I didn't even know who the F Usher was. You know what I'm saying? It was one of those type of situations. And when probably say, yo, man, I don't F with them. Man, I'm getting out that industry and everything like that. You know, Puff sent this little kid to the hospital. How he sent him to the hospital? Man, nigga was bleeding from the, and that's what was said. I didn't even have a name for the kid at the time. Then you heard, and that's what happened. So, and just to hear this, and this new thing where they saying that they got kids coming forward and said that he did that, man, that shit is crazy. And like I just said, that's just something that I heard.
Now on to Jay-Z. He's been closely connected to Diddy for a long time, through business ventures, private events, and luxury getaways. But things get darker when the name Kathy White comes up. Rumor has it she was Jay-Z's secret partner and supposedly passed away after becoming pregnant by him. That story has been whispered for years. But now people are saying Diddy might know the full truth and may even have recordings. That possibility has a lot of people on edge. But that's not the only controversy linked to Jay-Z. Remember the lawsuit from a few months ago? An unnamed woman accused both Diddy and Jay-Z of sexual assault. She claimed it happened after the 2000 VMAs at a private party in a New York City residence. Serious accusations. But when the case reached court, the claims began to unravel. She said her father picked her up after the incident, but he testified that he didn't remember anything unusual. She also mentioned talking with Benji Madden at the party, but he responded by saying he wasn't even in New York that night. With inconsistent details and little evidence, the judge dismissed the case. Still, even though they won in court, the public damage was done. Rumors kept circulating and speculation continued to grow. Then Jaguar Wright added fuel to the fire. She made strong accusations against Jay-Z, saying he's no better than Diddy, maybe even worse. Her exact words, she called him the devil. That's an extreme statement.
She doesn't have a picture with him. I'm smarter than Claudia Jordan. I would never take a picture with the devil. Everyone knew he was the devil. He's been the devil for 30 years.
If Diddy truly has any evidence connecting Jay-Z to those alleged freak-off events, it could be the end for him, his image, business, and everything he's built. And who could forget that strange birthday video where Diddy sang emotionally to French Montana while both were covered in baby oil? At the time, people just thought it was odd. But now it's being looked at differently, especially after reports surfaced that federal agents found over 1,000 bottles of baby oil in Diddy's home. 1,000? That's far beyond any normal skincare routine. People are calling it highly suspicious. And the chaos doesn't stop there. Jennifer Lopez's name has reappeared, linked to the infamous club shooting involving Shine years ago. Rumors are growing that J-Lo may have known more than she let on. Insiders now claim she was allegedly the one carrying the weapon in her purse that night.
I have 3 right now who are willing to give testimony about not only what Mr. Carter has done to them, but his wife as well. They're a nasty little couple. They do nasty things.
And that she later lied to the grand jury about it. That's what Nada Rubin, one of the women injured in the shooting, has been claiming. She's still working to reopen the case and has even offered to undergo surgery to remove the fragments from her face just to prove her story. According to Rubin, both Diddy and J-Lo need to be held responsible for what happened.
Irony is, there was a grand jury. We all had to go and speak at the grand jury. J-Lo testified at the grand jury, as did many other people. It needs to be reopened, because if that is in fact the case, she carried the gun in and she lied to the grand jury. It needs to be reopened.
If this situation escalates, J-Lo could be facing real legal consequences for the first time. And here's where things start to go even further. Whistleblowers like Katt Williams and Terrence Howard have started pointing fingers at white celebrities who suddenly disappeared from public view once the Diddy scandal went viral. Even Elon Musk joined in. He reshared a tweet that directly called out Ellen DeGeneres for leaving the US shortly after the controversy broke. And if you've been paying attention, Ellen hasn't just stayed quiet. She's vanished. A recent photo shows her in a quiet English pub, sporting a new hairstyle, a different demeanor, and an entirely different energy. She says she moved to escape the chaos in America. But online, people aren't convinced. Many believe she's on the run. Ellen and Diddy had a long-standing friendship. He frequently appeared on her show, joking around, sharing stories of wild nights, and sitting quite comfortably on her couch. Now, people are wondering, did she know more than she let on? Or worse, was she involved?
No, it's great. So tell me about your birthday party. Am I invited?
Yes. Yes, you're definitely invited. I invite you to all my parties. You just haven't seemed to show up.
No, well, is it on the East Coast?
Yes.
Well, that's why. Why don't you have one here on the West Coast? Because I work all the time.
Okay, well, maybe I have one at your house.
Where's that? Now, what time would your party start, let's say?
That's a different type of party.
Uh-huh.
It'll go from like 9:30 to like maybe 3 o'clock, 3 o'clock. And then, we have the top 2 floors of the hotel.
Mm-hmm. And then it will carry on there?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then the after party.
Mm-hmm. No, I know about them.
In 2016, Ellen tweeted Diddy a birthday message calling him Cuddled McNuggle Stuff and added, "Y'all don't need to know why." But now, people definitely want answers. That tweet hasn't aged well at all. With everything unfolding, it's drawing serious attention. Ellen's also long been rumored to be difficult behind the scenes. Former staff have described her show as one of the most toxic work environments in Hollywood. And now, disturbing claims are emerging about 2 of her former partners allegedly passing away under suspicious conditions. Some are beginning to suspect Diddy may have helped cover something up. After Joe Rogan broke the situation down, Katt Williams jumped in and took it even further. This time, he didn't hold back. For years, people dismissed Katt as just venting or ranting. But now, many are beginning to think he might have been telling the truth all along.
These big dick deviants is all catching hell in 2024. It's up for all of them. It don't matter if you Diddy or whoever you is.
Katt Williams isn't holding back. He's calling out the entire entertainment world, no matter your background. If you were involved in shady behavior behind the scenes, your name's being mentioned. And guess who just got added to the conversation? Leonardo DiCaprio. Yep, right when the Diddy controversy started making headlines, Leo's name quietly entered the mix.
Who's the person that's number 1 on that invitation list?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
And I can get on that list,
yes,
right?
Without a doubt.
Leonardo DiCaprio was seen catching a flight to Italy, saying it was just a vacation with his new girlfriend. But the timing, way too convenient. Just as Diddy's situation blows up, Leo's off the radar. That doesn't seem random. Old photos from Diddy's East Hampton mansion, taken back in 1998, recently resurfaced, showing Leo in the background like he was a regular guest. Now people are asking, how close were they really? Rumors say Leo and Diddy were very tight in the early 2000s. Diddy even called Leo his top pick for those exclusive all-white parties. Yes, those ones. Now Leo's team is saying they haven't been in contact for years, but the public remains skeptical. Then there's Ashton Kutcher, who's also drawing attention. His past MTV connections to Diddy run deep. They ran the New York Marathon together, and Ashton was seen at the 2009 White Party. Remember his Hot Ones interview? He looked pretty uncomfortable when Diddy's parties came up.
So, can't tell that one either. I mean, I'm like actually cycling through them. There was one moment, so it's not really a party story, but our relationship was really bizarre. So it started over Punk'd, because he was like, yo,
don't punk
you
me.
Can't punk me. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you. Everybody's on the table. He's like, not me, I'm off the table. And so that started our conversation. We became fast friends, and we used to just hang out and watch football together.
He tried to laugh it off, saying he had stories but couldn't share them. Now, that hesitation is raising more questions. Ashton and Mila Kunis have reportedly been laying low, watching football and staying out of the spotlight. According to In Touch, they're even planning to leave Hollywood and start a new chapter in Europe. Officially, it's about wanting a more peaceful life, but many online believe they're trying to avoid any fallout once Diddy's legal situation starts, naming names. And the conversation is no longer based on rumors. Terrence Howard just dropped a major revelation. His interview on the PBD podcast made serious waves. He didn't sugarcoat anything. Terrence claims Diddy approached him under the guise of a business collaboration. At first, it sounded like a normal acting project, but Diddy shifted the focus. Suddenly, it was about music and studio sessions. According to Terrence, it wasn't really about creative work. It was about getting personal. His assistant even warned him directly, saying, he's trying to get with you.
Like, okay, what's the material you want to work on? He's just looking at me. Then next thing you know, okay, hey, will you help me? I want to hear your music. So I come over there and I play the music. And he's sitting there, just looking at me, like waiting. Okay. So then my assistant was like, you know, he wants to hang out with you next week. And I was like, for what? He's like, I think he's trying to fuck you. That's what my assistant said. And I was like, oh.
And just like that, Terrence walked away. He cut ties, went silent, and closed every door behind him. Fast. But he didn't stop at calling out Diddy. Terrence made it clear that Diddy wasn't the only one acting shady. According to him, other top producers were operating the same way. This wasn't some isolated incident. It's been part of a long-standing pattern in the industry. He explained that when a man walks into a room, the way he's treated depends on what others think they can get out of him.
When you give up those things, like when you give up your manhood, I've never seen somebody recover from it. That was all the people that went to the puffy parties. That was all the people that did all those things thinking that there was never going to be a consequence for what they were doing.
And if you resist those uncomfortable advances, you simply don't get invited back. End of story. Now, all of it is finally catching up. The industry's secrets are coming to light, and no one's being spared. More whistleblowers are stepping forward, suggesting we've only seen the beginning. Insiders claim there are archives of footage, hidden recordings, confidentiality agreements, and quiet payouts meant to keep people silent. We're talking about hush money, private investigators, and full teams working to erase digital trails before things heat up. But the internet has a long memory, and now people are digging deeper than ever. Some major streaming platforms are reportedly starting to pull content linked to certain figures, quietly distancing themselves before more information surfaces. If that's true, the consequences are already unfolding behind the scenes. Meanwhile, everyone from stylists and former assistants to low-level club workers are coming forward with stories they were once too afraid to share. And the disturbing part is, these stories are consistent. They reveal a culture at the top built on control, access, and pressure. Saying no could cost you everything. Katt Williams backed it all up without hesitation. He said he turned down $50 million not once, but 4 separate times to keep his integrity intact. And when he said he was protecting his virgin hole, he meant it seriously. That was his line, and he stood by it.
Now, I've had to turn down $50 million 4 times. 4 times, just to protect my integrity and that virgin hole I was telling you about. Right.
Katt also explained how people often don't understand what they're really agreeing to when they chase certain deals. According to him, Diddy had been trying to get close for years, but Katt consistently held his ground. Then the conversation shifted to a topic that's been whispered about for years, the so-called dress agenda. It's the idea that Hollywood pressures black men to wear dresses or take on feminine roles to succeed. Katt, Terrence Howard, and Dave Chappelle have all spoken on it, saying it's not just a coincidence. Terrence claimed this was exactly why he was dropped from Iron Man. And it wasn't about the money, it was about refusing to conform. He wouldn't play the role they wanted, and that was that. He didn't fit their image, and he wasn't going to compromise who he was just to stay in favor with Hollywood. No dress, no pretending. Katt echoed the same. He said Martin Lawrence once tried to get him to wear a dress for Big Mama's house, but he declined, told Martin straight up, "I'm not the one you're looking for." Not long after, they cast Brandon T. Jackson instead. Katt had jobs lined up, plans in motion, but once he refused to wear the dress, those opportunities dried up. He made it clear he wasn't playing along. Then he called out Kevin Hart. Kevin once said in an interview he'd never wear a dress for a role, but shortly after, there he was on SNL doing exactly that.
And to put on a dress, I mean, you know, you have to have boundaries. You have to have limits that you.
New Pope is 9-year-old Oscar nominee Quvenzhané Wallis.
Wearing a dress and cracking jokes. Right after that, Kevin Hart's career took off. Katt Williams didn't think that was just a coincidence. He said that's exactly how the system works. Even Dave Chappelle told Oprah the same thing. They tried to put him in a dress too. He wasn't having it, and not long after, he left for Africa and disappeared for a while.
I'm not doing that. I don't feel comfortable with it. That should have been in the discussion. What? You don't feel comfortable with it? I mean, it's a hilarious bit. All the greats of
that move wasn't random. He was stepping back to protect himself from the system. Katt Williams laid it out clearly. Some people will play along, no matter how uncomfortable it gets. But others are willing to walk away broke just to keep their self-respect and peace of mind. And now, the internet is lit up. Everyone's got an opinion. Suddenly, people are saying, I never messed with Diddy. But let's be honest, Hollywood was obsessed with Diddy's parties. If you had status, you wanted that invite. One user even commented, I hope the Epstein and Diddy list drops so these evil folks finally end up behind bars. The pressure is building, and with the May 2025 trial approaching fast, it all feels like a countdown to something big. So now, we want to hear from you. What's your take on how this whole situation is unfolding? Drop a comment below. We're ready to hear your thoughts. And if you're here for the real talk with no filters, hit that like button, subscribe, and tap the next video on your screen. We're just getting started. Catch you in the next one.